What's next on the thing? On your list? I don't really have an "Are you all right" this week besides your jokes.
I do.
Okay. We'll do it. You have to say it. What segment is this?
This is "Are you all right?"
That was pretty good. Are you all right? But go ahead.
Okay, so you headlined.
Yes. Thank you. Hold on.
2 nights in a row. And Friday night,
yes,
you did a lot of crowd work.
Yes.
And in the second show, I was sitting in the back of the room with 2 other comics, and you were communicating with somebody who was talking through everybody's set.
Here's what happened.
Tell me.
There was a dude in the front row who was super drunk. Wealth manager. I think, as we talked about earlier at brunch, is probably a bad time to be a wealth manager.
Yes.
This guy's hammered, disrupting the show, the first 3 comics. Elliot, the feature, as he comes off, says to me in passing, that guy in the front row is fucking awful. Just destroy his ass. So I was like, all right. And to be honest, I was feeling this weird insecurity about the room because the room was only like half full. And I felt like I let down because Comedy Works is usually sold out. So in some crazy universe, I felt self-conscious about the turnout, even though they asked me to headline about an hour and a half before the show, and there's a major fucking epidemic going around the world. So I did feel like, so I would say that I just didn't come in with the right mentality. I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. And then this guy was an asshole to all the comics. Not really an asshole, but just drunk and needed a lot of attention. So I did some crowd work with him, because even if I did jokes, he was going to interrupt them. Mm-hmm. So I did a bunch of crowd work with him, and I picked on him pretty good, but I think he liked it. It was all in good fun. I wasn't that mean. And then out of nowhere, about 35 minutes into my set, this guy about 5 rows back just goes, as loud as he can, in the middle of a half-empty showroom, he just goes, "You're a fucking asshole." And I'm like, who? Are you talking to me? Or you're talking to this guy up front? And he goes, "I'm fucking talking to you. Quit talking to that dude." I go, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking to you now. Let me talk to you." Then I walked over to his side of the stage.
And then you go, "Who do you think you are, Superman?" And then you squared off to him, and I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck are you? Captain Save-A-Ho right now? Who you a hero? You want to rescue this guy? So I said, this guy's been disrupting the whole show for all the paying customers. All the comics hate him. And then his wife starts screaming, "Just be funny.
We just want to laugh.
Yeah, be funny.
We just want to laugh. Just be funny."
Then he says something. I say something to him. And then
you said, "What do you think, this guy doesn't want attention? He's sitting in the front row and he's been talking through every single show. You think he doesn't want attention now?"
Yeah. Then I go, "Mind your fucking business, you bitch." And then he says, "You want to go outside?" This all happened in the middle of the show. "You want to go outside?" And he has on like a fancy ass scarf. And I said, "Bitch, I'll fucking choke you out with your own scarf if you don't shut the fuck up."
So I'm sitting in the back row dying, like pulling my jacket over my head. I'm sitting there with Matt Markman, who is completely shocked, like
which he shouldn't be.
Leaning forward in his chair and like looking at the stage like, "What the fuck, Brandt?" And Kobos is like nervously and giddily just laughing next to me. And the people in the row in front of us were all like talking and saying shit. And then my watch starts going off and I look down and my watch is asking me if it wants me to record the workout that I'm not doing. But my blood pressure was so high in that moment that my watch thought I was working out.
Well, there was a group of Mexican dudes like stage right that were like kind of gangster young dudes. And that's another reason it didn't make me worry. They were like, "Yeah, fuck that dude. Fuck him, Holmes." And that got me going. So then I'm talking shit to this dude. And he's like, "Just do jokes or something." He goes, "All right, then let's go outside." I go, "I'm doing a fucking show. I can't go outside right now and beat your ass." I said, "You shut the fuck up and let me do the show. Is that all right?" And the crowd goes crazy. I go, "I'm going to do a story. Let me ask this guy a question." So I went back. I said, "Can I ask him a question? Is that okay with you?" And he wouldn't answer. I said, "Fucking answer me, you bitch." And then at this moment, his wife gets up and walks out to the lobby, and she starts crying. She's mad at her husband. She's like, "We flew in to go to all these shows.
It's her birthday weekend.
Birthday. All the shows got canceled." And so they had to come to this show. So he's drawn a line in the sand, though. He lets his wife leave, and he just wants to sit there and stare at me for the last 20 minutes of the show. And, and that's... But the crowd loved it. You have to admit, the crowd was on my side.
The crowd...
Because who I almost did was this one.
Who do you think you are? I am.
I said, who the fuck you...
Who do you think...
I said, who are you talking to? This is my show. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. If you want to talk, you be your own comedian. I said, shut the fuck up. I was mad.
I know.
I was real
I could
mad.
feel it. My watch knew.
So, yeah, I had a little meltdown. But overall, I think the crowd and staff and other comedians liked it. But I probably ruined this lady's birthday. So shout out to that lady. I'm sorry that me and your husband couldn't see eye to eye. But the guy loved it. The guy that he was defending, that's my problem. I was like, this is a grown-ass man in the front row.
Yeah, and you gave him a book.
This ain't your business. Yeah, and I gave him a book.
Fine.
But I will say this. I did get scared. Because when you're on stage, you can just walk. A crowd member can just walk right on stage. There's actually seats on the stage. So to my left, there's 2 seats. And one drunk guy went to the bathroom in the middle of this. And I chose to go on with the show. I'm in the middle of a story, and I just hear this clanking to the left of me. And I flip around because I think this guy's coming. But like I told Shire, she's like, what if he came punch you? I was like, that's best thing for my career ever. That shit goes viral. Comedian gets attacked during coronavirus. But we survived it, and I just had to tell him.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty!
But Shire was very worried, so.
Yeah.
It was an eventful week. I mean, tensions are high around here. That's why this coronavirus is bad. Nobody wants to have fun.
That's true.
But it was a good, all right, Brandt.
Yeah.
And I think it was for most of it, but I probably took it a little too far. So if you're listening, couple, which I'm sure you're not, I'm sorry for ruining your little staycation. I hope you went back and had some hotel sex or whatever you fucking weirdos do. So that was that. That is another episode, another segment of Are You All Right?